nice warm pan. So into that I'm going to go in with a tablespoon and a half of olive oil. In goes some onion. I went ahead and I turned my heat down to low because notice the brown edges on the onion. I don't want to burn it, but I want to flavor everything. And speaking about flavor, I've got some garlic and 1 Scotch bonnet pepper that I chopped up. I'm going to hit that with some Caribbean green seasoning. And if you're new to Caribbean cooking and cuisine and the culinary culture of the Caribbean green seasoning is just a puree or a blend of all the herbs along with, we like using, along with seasoning peppers and garlic and all those different niceties in there. The recipe for the Caribbean green seasoning can be found on caribbeanpot.com. Fresh ground black pepper. My heat is still on low, and this is when I'm gonna add my curry powder. Gonna hit that quick little stir around like so. What we're trying to do here is sort of wet toast by frying it in the oil first, the curry powder, and use your favorite curry powder, you know. And the other thing I wanted to mention there, and I didn't, is I use an entire Scotch bonnet pepper. You can use it. You can use as much as you can handle, or you can leave it out. You know what I mean? It's totally up to you. But the curry powder, yeah, use your favorite. I'm just using my own blend there, and we want to wet toast it, as I said earlier, to bloom the different spices which makes up a good curry powder. So very low heat. We're not trying to burn it. You will notice the curry will go a bit darker and start to go a bit more clumped. That is exactly where we want. It's been about 3 minutes since I added the curry powder on that low heat to the pot here. So next up, a large can, straight out of the can, the liquid and everything of that salmon. I'm going to turn my heat up to medium, and I'm just going to gently break up the salmon a little bit. I want a tiny bit of Anchar Masala in there. That's going to give it that deep cumin sort of flavor. And the Anchar Masala, you'll be able to find that at any West Indian grocery store. If you don't have that, just use ground roasted cumin. Here is where I'm going to add my pigeon peas to the mix. And the pigeon peas is straight out of a can. That is dry pigeon peas. Green pigeon peas will work as well too. But it's been rinsed thoroughly because we don't want all that sodium that, you know, typically in cans. We'll need water to pull it all together. Give that a stir just to bring everything together. And we also need some potato in there just for a bit more body. And I went ahead and I pre-boiled the potatoes in salted water. We want to tuck the potato down inside there, because we want that potato to just suck up all that curry goodness, all that niceness we have on the bottom down there, yeah? And we're gonna bring this up to a boil. And I've shared the curry salmon with potato recipe before. And as in that recipe I pointed out, it's a great way to stretch 1 can of salmon. Today I'm making quite a bit here, and adding that pigeon peas there is a different dimension altogether as well too. But the whole idea is stretching food for a lot of people. If all you have is a can of salmon, well, we're rocking that. Time to hit it with a bit of salt. I'm not sure if I mentioned it already, but all this while it's been on a medium heat. And for a bit more color, we eat with our eyes, and a bit of balance, the acidity from the tomato there, and that is just some grape tomato that I chopped in half. If you have, use whatever tomato you have. Just hit that a final little stir, let the residual heat cook down the tomato. Remember, the potato, everything else, the canned pigeon peas is already cooked from before. All that stuff in the can is already pre-cooked, so you ain't trying to overcook anything. Plus, if you're looking at it and you see like it looks like a lot of liquid in there, as it cools down, it will thicken up considerably. The last thing I like doing is finishing it up with some cilantro. Sup, soldiers? Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me email address down here. I mean, trying to tell people the email address, them butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pot. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie? ChrisierCaribbeanPot.com. Always a pleasure having you all in the kitchen with me. A quick one. Canned salmon, pigeon peas, and potato. Irie?